Hey, what's up, everybody? Good AM. It's your guy via Philly. You know what I mean? It's aggressive intelligence. Tapping in with y'all early. But while it was fresh on my mind, you know what I'm saying? I wanted to do this drop now. You know what I mean? It's 6 a.m. About to get the day started. Trying to do this new schedule. Challenge myself. Like, working overnight. Before I used to be like, you know what I mean? Waking up 4 or 5, get the day started was nothing. But it been a real challenge, like, but working overnight, that shit is a different battle, I'm not gonna lie. And made me, like, actually this week probably, or no, last week, made 4 years, all overnights. Like, I probably worked 5 second shifts in 4 years and everything else. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy, but besides the point, you know what I mean? While it was fresh on my mind, 2 things inspired this drop. My favorite, educator, I would say, I don't know the proper word, but as far as anybody that drop knowledge and, use YouTube as a main platform, Professor MGTOW, like those that's close to me, I probably recommended them to y'all. But that's my favorite guy as far as these drops. And a video I was watching of his this morning where he was touching on hormones and, like, the way why drugs are so prevalent in the culture, because they allow you to escape the mind and live in the spirit. You know what I'm saying? It's closer to your higher self than everything that you bury by on your day-to-day. And that's why drugs are so prevalent in the community, because it's like a, even though it's not righteous maybe, but it's, you know what I'm saying, it's like an escape to a certain extent. And it allows you to free your mind, like free yourself from your mind. That inspired it. I'm going to touch on that again later, because that's a whole nother, drop in itself. But it was inspired by, watching him early this morning, and the video that Wallow267 did the other day, where I believe it's titled, If I Go Tomorrow, or If It Ends Tomorrow, something like that. But that joint hit me deep. It hit me here, because it's like, it made me really focus in on things that I thought I was focused on before. But, excuse me, in all actuality, I really wasn't, because there's so many things that, even though I like to think I'm grateful, it's still small things that we all take for granted. And just like not knowing when your time, you know what I'm saying, is going to come, and when your time going to expire. And pretty much his video was about just like feeling fulfilled and being happy if you were to go tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? Would you be pleased with it? And, my answer right now is no. And, rest his soul, when Nipsey Hussle passed, everybody know that, that's really close to me, know that that's not just my favorite artist, that's my favorite person as far as people I never met, you know what I'm saying? And that's why his death affected me so hard, because it's like I feel like, man, how you do everything right and it still had that ending. But my higher self understanding on a whole nother level. So even though I went through a deep depression during that time, and I just got out of one, it's crazy, but that bothered me, and it's always going to bother me, but I'm able to deal with it better. But it is deeper than just that being an artist that you was into, or just somebody who you study their moves and you acknowledge them. It was like he represented us on the front line of the spiritual warfare that we in. And a lot of people, might not see that, but in hindsight, I think they will. It's deeper than, like the typical that we hear about, but that's a whole nother topic about behind the scenes of the industry. And speaking of that, that does tie into what I'm about to get into, though, because it's like you do everything right, and your story still end like that. But then if you look at it, like I said, from a different perspective, more of a spiritual side of it, you understand that he fought his fight and he won, and that's why his legacy, is what it is, and why his name was carried the way it was to this day, and always will be with the Solomons, because it's deeper than just music, you know what I'm saying? And, he served his purpose. So if you able, I had to trick myself to, like, not even trick myself, because it's really true, but like start looking at death like a graduation versus something to be like, we gonna be hurt, you know what I'm saying? It's gonna hit us some days more than others. But like start looking at it more like that person graduated, and they escaped their troubles and everything that they went through. And it's like about, like, Nipsey death really made me focus on legacy. And that's why, I really, even though I was about to stop because I was discouraged, I, doubled down on the music and really, put my energy into it and just kept working and just, piling up material. And even though it's not released yet, it's like, that's legacy, you know what I'm saying? I don't have no biological children. You know what I'm saying? I love my stepson. I don't even like to use that word, but I love him like he came from me still. But just speaking on legacy, like, you know, that really carry your, you know, when you going, you know what I'm saying? My music is my legacy, and that's the main purpose of it. And it'll inspire others, and maybe somebody might hear one line in something I drop, and it might change their day or change their path or just change their whole way of thinking, you know what I'm saying? Or stop them from making a rash decision. So that's why I do it for real. But, you know, I ain't gonna make this drop too long, but I definitely wanted to talk to y'all this morning. But, you know, like I said, Wallow 267 video and Professor MGTOW inspired this drop. And it made me think about, that's why I'm calling it Feeling Alive. Because MGTOW drop was talking about how we so comfortable in our day-to-day. It ain't like back in the days where, caveman days where your adrenaline pumping 24 hours because they was fighting different battles, you know what I'm saying, out in nature. But us being so comfortable, a lot of times we don't chill. Our blood ain't flowing like it really would if we was in an intense or a harsh, a rash situation. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, that made me think about something. And it's something that I thought about doing a drop on for a while. I was going to have a different title for it, but it was pretty much talking about letting yourself be depressed and not doing nothing about it. Like, I admit, somewhere along the lines of life, I lost the thrill for life. I lost the excitement of it. I lost a lot, you know what I'm saying? And of course, we supposed to grow, mature, and become adults, responsible adults. But at the same time, I feel like it's vital that we keep that kid in us alive too. You know what I'm saying? That's important because that's really what life is about. It's like, society is set up to lower your energy to the point where you nowhere near your higher self, and you disconnected from your etherian cord, you know what I'm saying? And that's not living really. And I admit, I probably wasted 10 years plus of my life, and not like it was all bad, but as far as progression and just being happy, honestly, like, I'm 33 now, and to be all the way real with y'all, I didn't really start coming out of it until about 29, 30-ish, you know what I'm saying? And I'm willing to admit that because for everybody, I hope, you know, all age groups can get something out of what I'm saying, but especially the younger guys who take time to listen and they, you know, take heed to the things I say. I really hope that they get something out of it if they going through something similar that I went through. But I honestly could say probably from 17 to like 29, I was in a deep depression. Like, a lot of it, even though I never let that be an excuse in my life, I was aware of the trauma from not having my father, you know, him leaving it when I was 7 and being one of the only, out of maybe 10, 11 kids on Alden Street, I was one of the two, I was one of the 2 out of the 10 or 11 of us that didn't have a father, you know what I'm saying? So I learned from watching my homies learn from their fathers when it comes to sports. My dad did teach me like how to hold your hands, though. I'm gonna give him his credit. And, you know, I grew to let that part of my life go because I carried hatred for him for years. But I honestly could say he passed away around, I want to say 2010 or 11. And a year before that, I said a prayer and I let go the harsh feelings that I had towards him because I used to hate him, like, you know, for leaving and never coming back and giving me his word that he would. It took a long time for me to let that go. But not to get too much into that and make it all too much about my story. But it's like, just feel alive, you know what I'm saying? I want y'all to hear this, like, feel alive. Do things that make you feel alive. You know what I'm saying? Don't be buried by bills and just pressures, and definitely not what nobody else thinking, you know what I'm saying? But just the weight that we put on our own shoulders and we willing to carry. It's cool to carry it, but it's also important to balance it. You know what I'm saying? Don't let our light get that dumb to where it's like we not doing none of the things that excite us. For me, music was my outlet. It's like a journal also. And at 22, this is when I really started studying the world and really learning like what the world we live in is really about, for real, for real. And I admit, I quit music for 22. From 22 to 24, I always wrote though, because like whether or not I was going to record it and put it out for the public, it was always for me because like I said, it served as a journal and documenting my story, you know what I'm saying? So I never stopped writing. But from 22 to 24, I did stop making music because I just made a conscious decision that I would never sign a record deal. And I'm not saying this to discourage nobody who may be into music and, you know, have different aspirations, but I just know what I want out of it, and it wasn't parallel with the things that I was learning. So I just made a decision to just, what's the point? And that's another reason that Nipsey inspired me so much, because he showed me that you could really do this and stay true to yourself and take the independent route, take the stairs instead of the elevator. And that's what I've been doing. And it's like, regardless of what I get out of it, if I don't make $1 off of it, it doesn't really matter, because it's about my legacy and I'm telling my story and it's real life. And I do it because I love music. But like I said, that's the reason I named my last full-length project 24. A lot of people thought I was from 24th Street or all kind of, you know, 24 hours. You know what I'm saying? You could incorporate the 24-hour part. It definitely was like a, you know, R.I.P. Kobe Bryant. It was definitely like a way to shout him out too, because other than Nipsey, Kobe was always my biggest inspiration, even though I didn't play ball like try to be on a professional level, just his mentality. So the 2-4 was kind of a double entendre, but the 2-4 really represented I was 24 when I decided to get back into recording music. But for a long time, you know, I just felt discouraged and I stopped. That's one of the things that, you know, make me feel alive. So that's what I do. I don't go to the club. I'm not knocking nobody, but I'd rather spend my Saturday nights or my Saturday afternoons and evenings in the studio. And like I said, man, the purpose of this video is more so feel alive. You know what I mean? Because we never know when we gotta go. So do things that make you feel alive and keep that little kid in you alive. And that's what I had to get back to. Not fully yet, but I'm still working on it. You know what I'm saying? Going back to the basketball court on a regular basis. I used to play basketball every day after school. You know what I'm saying? And that was just for fun. And it was an outlet. But it also kept me more in shape than I am now. So that's something that I should have never stopped doing. It's a lot of benefits, but it's just keep that kid in you alive, man. But I ain't gonna make this drop too long. I got some more stuff coming for y'all before the weekend is over. You know what I'm saying? I'm just gonna say to y'all, feel alive. Enjoy your Friday. Don't let nobody kill your vibe. And I'm gonna touch down with y'all in a little bit. And y'all take it easy, man. I appreciate y'all tapping in. It's aggressive intelligence.